Previously on Follow the Leader.
Today we're playing Lady Winter by Jim Pinto, game 48 in the Protocol series from Post World Games. For those of you who are new to this game and system, here are the basics. Lady Winter is a story role-playing game about the land of Fae and the mysteries of the unknown. As druids, Fae, seed, witches, and all manner of creatures prepare for the arrival of Lady Winter, the sky grows dark and the air cold. Characters take on the role of community leaders charged with bringing gifts to Lady Winter, in the hope that she bestows kindness upon them. But Lady Winter is fickle and her temper unpredictable. Will she bring salvation, or will she toy with the land of myth until the thaw of spring? White as snow, cold as death, Lady Winter comes. Low to those who refuse to bow before the coming tempest. Alright, so in Lady Winter, we're taking on the roles of community leaders from the land of myth. Each has been tasked with bringing gifts to Lady Winter in the hope that her gift will win the lady's favour. If she finds them deserving, she will spare them from Winter's wrath. Otherwise, ominous ellipses.
I'm playing Miva Namathari. Her role is elf, and her look is verdant, sylvan, and lithe. She's a plant elf. The role of the elf says, elf, not the same as she. An elf embodies grace and immortality, though lacks the raw power of Lady Winter.
My name is Casdelian Hrothgar, king of all goblins. My look is towering, regal, and hirsute. I am the bug bear, and my description in the roles is thus. Recently crowned by the 13 great goblin tribes, the Goblin King has the most to gain by earning Lady Winter's favor, and the most to lose by earning her wrath. I'm a big, hairy bear man.
And my character is Tala Sigrain, uses they-them pronouns, not thee-them, as I have written. Their role is the druid, and their look is earthy, both in the colour palette sense and in sort of the personality sense, broad and weathered. And the role of the druid is humanity's main connection to the world of magic and the Fae. Druids speak to the wild like no human can. The druid is forever tied to Father Autumn, the master of the hunt, the white stag, and the witch.
Do we have the tribe, the goblin tribes have an enemy specifically? Maybe it's the Knight of the Realm.
We now return to your game already in progress.
So the order, it says the order is not important. We can decide to take turns in a random order, clockwise order, or even bid to the next director. To make sure everyone's involved and no one directs 2 times in a row. Do we want to just go in the order that we've established?
Yeah.
So it's your turn now.
It's my turn now.
So draw 2 cards, one for scene and one for the location.
One for scene and one for location. All right.
There are handouts for those in Roll20 also.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
The scene is the King of Diamonds, which just means something wild. Let's find out where their location is. The location is the Jack of Spades. So these are very... You're going to see. So the King of Diamonds is an interrogation in which the Harvester of Souls beckons.
Jesus Christ.
Wow. Okay.
And the location is the altar of winter with a glance from heaven to earth.
I love these prompts.
So that's the kind of shit we're working with.
Mm-hmm.
Very sexy, very cool. I'm into it.
So what the fuck does that mean?
There's a little bit of description at the bottom of each of these handouts.
Yeah.
Just to give a vibe while we all scramble desperately and go, what does that mean?
So the Harvester of Souls can take many forms and should be unique each time it appears, which is cool. That's the same thing for Lovers, Madmen, and Seething Brains, as well as a Herald of Winter. Those three things all have that asterisk next to them.
So we want to explain what a interrogation is.
Yes, an interrogation are a complicated but varied approach to scene framing. There are a number of ways to direct an interrogation scene. The core concept is that the director asks up to 5 questions to another player. The director selects one player, steals 1 drama point from that player, and asks the question of the 5 questions. That's method 1. Method 2 is the director selects one player. That character takes on the role of an NPC of the director's choosing. The director then asks that player up to 5 questions. The director may ask the questions from the point of view of an NPC or his own character. This process should feel organic. However, the interrogation may be out of character as well, in which case the director asks the questions in an abstract fashion as though going down a list. Regardless, the questions can be anything fitting the theme of the card drawn. The player being interrogated cannot say no, nor can they avoid answering the question. If a leading question paints the character into a corner, all the better. Wild.
Is either of the methods speaking to you particularly?
Ask leading questions, avoid yes-no questions, or questions that can be reduced to short answers. What and why questions are great. Did or can questions are not. Why are you waiting for reinforcements? Wild. Crazy. This game has so much going on. Is anything like speaking to me? I like to steal points.
Let's game the game.
Yeah. I have to think of 5 questions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
just making notes of this in our in our document so we can keep tabs on what's gone before.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna go with a little polygon line here, and I'm gonna tick in one of my scenes. Okay. So I think that I'm going to steal a drama point from Tala the Druid.
Sup?
And I'm going to ask that player up to 5 questions.
Okay. Can't believe you stole one of my points.
I did steal one of your points. So, the Harvester of Souls beckons to Tala. What shape does the Harvester of Souls take?
Okay. And we're at the Altar of Winter.
The Altar of Winter with a glance from heaven to earth, which I think means that we are at the top of an extremely tall tower of ice. So maybe, like, the Altar of Winter is where the queen, whatever her name is, the Lady Winter, the Lady Winter will arrive when she arrives, but until then, it is just an altar with an empty throne.
Mm-hmm.
And people go like there like daily to check it, basically, to like, is she here yet? Is she here yet? Just to keep track. And you go to check on one day, and she is not here, but there is a huge tower, or not even a tower. It's just a set of stairs, a spiral staircase open to the air, where at the bottom the Harvester of Souls beckons you forward. And I think right now the Harvester of Souls is a farmer.
All right.
A true harvestman with a sickle and a sheaf of grain.
Nice.
who bids you follow it up the spiral until you can see with a glance from heaven to earth.
All right.
So the first question that you are asked is, how did your predecessor die?
See, I was originally thinking old age, but that feels hella dull. And I want to think of something more interesting. A great mist rolled in off the sea. Or we thought it was going to. It rolled up onto the beach and came in no further. And so my predecessor went to investigate, one of the most learned of our people, stepped into the mist and was never seen again. The mist rolled out and they were gone. And no one ever saw them again. No body was ever discovered, but nature took them.
Why do you believe that was nature?
As opposed to...
anything else? The unnatural, the arcane, the eldritch.
It didn't smell of magic. It didn't carry the taint of something untoward. My predecessor went, seemingly, of their own free will. It didn't call to them. And nothing ill followed it. It obeyed the law of nature as it rolled in and rolled out. The only strange thing was that it didn't advance any further than the beach, and that it took the predecessor.
Elijah. Okay. Why did you accept the position of their replacement?
I'm imagining that this is the harvestman actually asking these questions, because I know it's the director, asking me as Jade the player.
Oh yeah, no, it's the harvestman asking the questions for sure. The harvester of souls, the Grim Reaper.
Talus smiles a little. Well, firstly, I know the Red Court. I know its customs. I know the arrival of the lady I have been born witness before. But also an opportunity to see faces I might not otherwise.
Indeed.
2 more questions.
Faces you might not otherwise. The harvester kind of like raises an eyebrow. What do you hope to gain out of seeing these faces?
Perhaps it's sentiment. Perhaps a chance to feel less burdened by the responsibilities I have now. I think it's not something they had considered before. As to what are you going to get out of seeing them again? It's just like, I don't know.
There is an alliance in the works at this court between Winter and between 2 of your former connections. How do you feel about that?
It is the way of politics for connections to be forged and upheld. But it is the way of nature for things to break down. Nothing is forever.
No, it isn't. And the tower melts.
Dope.
While you're standing on it, you don't fall. It melts and like takes you to the ground like an elevator.
Fucking sick. I love it.
That rules.
That's my scene.
All right. My turn. Oh, 2 mates. Cool. So the scene, which is the 8 of Hearts, is an interlude with crowns, scepters, giants, and tyrants And let me be clear. This interlude is between you two. That's how interludes work.
Fun.
And the location is the tower as torchlights flicker. Interludes involve 2 and only 2 characters with a pre-existing relationship, but neither character needs to be the directors. The director sets the scene based on the cards drawn. The scene runs as long as the director likes without being self-indulgent. Calling scene when the characters have said or done enough. An interlude involves only one location. Should the characters leave the location or reach a moment of conflict, the scene ends. All players not involved in the scene gain 1 drama point at the end of the interlude. So in this case, nobody would, because unless I chose to be one of the characters in it, which I ain't gonna. So this is going to be a scene between Kazdelian and Miva, who, as we've established, share a relationship of, what was the definite? How do you guys define that? What was the card?
Romantic dominion.
I do not get tired of hearing that. So that's interesting, because some of these, I'm just reading the example here, like, imply that the lady has already arrived. But I like that we've got the vibe that she could show up at any minute, and it's not like her showing up ends it, because, like, it'll be interactions with her can be a thing, if need be. So, all right. So yeah, crowns, scepters, giants, and tyrants as the value of the scene.
Round, scepters, giants, and tyrants.
See, that just feels very apt, given what the whole deal is between you two anyway.
Yeah.
And this tower, as torchlights flicker, it's autumn, obviously, so it gets dark pretty early. And I feel this is just one of... It says the tower. So maybe like this is like the center structure, or it rises up above the red court. This structure of wood and stone and metal, like elements of humanity and of magic and of the wild brought together. It's a place of true neutrality, so all can walk its halls. And yeah, torchlights are flickering away. So, advice: interludes are mostly about the drama between 2 characters. While interludes can be used to advance the plot, this is secondary to the interpersonal actions and reactions of the characters. Let them explore the relationship in the context of the scene's focus. So, what's interesting is that there are no NPCs in interlude unless someone spends a drama point to include one. I can spend one. That would have been characters that don't have a pre-existing relationship. Or to add an NPC. Players can spend a drama point to join an interlude, or 2 to join the interlude as an NPC, or to spend to end the interlude early, or to extend it after the director decides to cut. So that's interesting.
That is interesting. So, so you're still the director, so you're still framing the scene. It is between the 2 of us, and we're in the tower. But like,
okay, night has fallen. I know that much, and there's a chill in the air. Like that prospect of Lady Winter's arrival means that there is that biting chill, which probably doesn't bother Castellian very much, being the very fuzzy person that he is. But I imagine for Miva, it's much more uncomfortable.
Yeah, she's definitely a tropical flower.
So, trying to think. One of you is going. I say one is going to the other. I'm trying to decide.
Yeah. That's the thing.
What kind of contingent, like, did Cazdelian travel with? How many people? Revenue. There's the word I was looking for. Retinue.
Revenue is how much money I've made.
Yeah.
Yes, my retinue, my entourage. probably some goblins who are like here as like not toadies, but as like just general servants. A pair of hobgoblins as my actual like guards, and one like troll to display that while I'm the king of all goblins, there are more than just goblins within my kingdom.
Nice.
I also just go without them half the time.
Sure.
Because I am Kazillion Hearthgar, and there is no being, living or dead, that can conquer me.
Alrighty. Okay, I'm afraid the scene. The two of you meet in a hallway, having both been going to find the other. Kazillion having left his retinue behind and is alone.
I'm sure there's like a bit of slapstick comedy of that where they are all like they're constantly trying to find me.
That's hilarious and good, yes.
I love that, yeah.
How does somebody so big get lost so easily?
I got soft foot pads. I make no noise when I walk.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're like maybe there's like we're in a tower, but maybe there's like a balcony, like big window, where the chill of the autumn air blows in. What does Miva look like? What's her like?
I would say she's probably on top of all of the like, petals and leaves that make up her body, but also her outfit. She's probably wearing some kind of like very heavy fur something. She's fucking chilly. She's real cold. And it's not even winter yet. It's still fall. But if it is nighttime, then there are sort of veins on her skin that are glowing softly, sort of purplish. Her eyes are like glowing brightly, and she's just she's not like looking around or anything. She's just sort of like standing on the balcony and looking out at the palace.
Cool. And as established, I make no noise when I step, which means the first thing you hear is my voice. This is Lady Namathari. It's been too long.
She's like, ah! Oh, goodness.
I am wearing a beautiful royal blue like jacket with gold piping and breeches. I don't wear boots because my feet are so soft as to make no noise, and fuzzy. In addition, I am wearing a huge fur cape made from the pelt of a bear, of a huge bear that I defeated in combat.
Nice.
And I have an elf sword.
You say a bear. You're a bugbear.
I'm a bugbear. This thing was like a cave bear.
Okay, I was like, was this like a sentient being that you were wearing the pelt of? Or
No. It was. I mean, it could have been some sort of mythic bear, but like not.
It was a bear.
Yeah, it was a bear.
Okay, I'd say Miva's wearing some sort of like very soft pelts. Like bears' pelts are very like coarse and like rough. She's wearing like something like fox fur or mink, where it's very soft and she's bundled up. Like she looks cold. But, like a wool skirt. She looks a little out of place wearing like clothing, if that makes sense. Sure. The clothing is a very strange contrast to the rest of her, which is all very organic, like looks like it grew out of her body. But she sort of is like very freaked out. She's like, I didn't hear you come in. Goodness gracious.
Nobody ever does.
Yes, well, what brings you up to this, tower?
Sightseeing. Are you alright? You look pretty cold.
I am not built for this sort of weather. Let me put it that way. Right. She sort of, like, bundles herself a little tighter in.
He reaches and, like, feels, like, the thickness of your fur coat. Like, this is not going to do anything. Here. And he takes out this gigantic fur cape and just puts it around your shoulders.
She, like...
And it's like 30 pounds, yeah.
Yeah, she's, like, she's like crouched or like hunched over now from how heavy it is. She's like, oh, well,
Because Delian is like 8 feet tall.
oh my god. The good ship.
Mm-hmm.
This is good shit right here.
Mm-hmm.
She is like drowning in this cloak. She's a little warmer because it's also like, part of me wants to be like, do plant people even produce their own body heat?
Mm-hmm. Bugbears definitely do. And so
Bugbears definitely do. So it's definitely warmer.
Cloak, yeah. I was like,
yeah.
Oh. And he's like stands there and like he like lifts the cloak so that the weight is in his hand, but it's like still wrapped around you.
This is adorable. Oh, thank you.
Of course.
Thank you very much.
This might work more as a blanket. Maybe there's a lounge around you could sit on instead of standing here where the wind will bite at your blood.
Yes. Quite. Why don't we find somewhere a little more
Cozy.
out of the wind to talk?
Out of the wind, right? Yes.
Yeah. Because she was gonna be like, let's find somewhere more private to talk, and then she was like, let's not say that. That sounds like I'm inviting a completely different vibe than what I'm going for.
Mm-hmm. And he said cozy.
She's not sure how she feels about this marriage yet.
Mm-hmm.
But, oh, that's an interesting thing. Maybe she decided she had to come and arrive first because she wanted to meet her betrothed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, properly.
Are we betrothed? I thought he was still like trying to like get that started.
Oh, is he still trying to get that? That's interesting too.
Yeah, because he's a brand new king.
Oh, yeah.
And this is like, he's not a politician. He is a former warlord who like brought together 13 warring tribes.
Interesting. And I like the idea that Miva's also some kind of like magic warrior almost. Like, she's very, very skilled in elemental magic.
You got that thing where like armor made of magic appears around you, and you got like a sword and shield made of magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like her arms just sometimes are just like wreathed in flame.
Totally.
You'd think she'd be better at dealing with the cold given that, but no, she's stupid also, so she doesn't really think about it.
It's magic flame. It doesn't have heat.
It might. It certainly burns other things. But yes. So she's like, but she's also, you know. So do you think you're in talks with Miva's family about this proposed?
I don't think that I know that is what you should do.
Oh my god. Okay. That's actually very funny. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's like, if you want to marry someone, you should talk to the person you're trying to marry, right? Yeah, that makes sense to me.
All right. Well, she is appreciative of this cloak and a little taken aback by everything else about this very, very big boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's get somewhere a little warmer.
Yes, I would appreciate that very much. And I think because we've moved locations, that's the end of our scene.
Oh, I guess it could be.
Mm.
I think we have to stay in the same location.
It could be a room in the tower.
Could be a room in the tower. Torchlight continues to flicker.
It's true. Torchlight does continue to flicker.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we can continue.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she's bundled up in the cloak. Maybe finds like a big chair, like a big like
an armchair.
Yeah,
just nest in with this huge cloak.
Yeah.
Sam, I cannot wait for you to draw this flower elf in a big armchair, just like wrapped up.
Like a burrito.
Yup. That's exactly what's going to happen as soon as I can restart my computer because my tablet's fucked up right now.
No. And like Hrothgar is like, because Delian, Hrothgar is his last name. They're both names. Is like kneeling down and like putting cords of wood on a fireplace and looking around for a match.
Very domestic.
They don't have flint and steel here.
If he's looking for a match, Miva just sort of snaps and it catches flame.
Holy shit! I mean, impressive.
She giggles sort of demurely, a lot more demurely than my original cackle.
That is quite impressive, milady.
Thank you. I do happen to be in my own home a warrior of some renown.
A warrior. Impressive. I, as well, am a warrior.
I'm aware.
And he just draws his sword. It is a,
Draws a sword, huh?
yes, Jesus.
Samwise, behave. It seemed to. We have rules in this podcast. They're called lines.
It is a sword with a gold, like, wrapped hilt, or no, a silver wrapped hilt, and silver, like, cross guard, and the blade is just, like, white, like moonlight. And he says, I actually took this sword from an elf knight who tried to kill my family. A whole bunch of them when I was young. Served me well. Elves, good craftspeople.
Thank you. She's a little taken aback by this. She's like, I don't know how to respond to this.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, it's I've used it my entire life, and it had my entire career as a warrior, and it's never broken once. So that's good. That's good stuff.
Yes, we elves do happen to be particularly. She's just like, am I in danger here? We're particularly
Because Elena has fucking no idea.
skilled craftsmen. She's like sitting here wrapped in his cloak, like, am I about to die?
And he is truly just like, he doesn't even realize that, like, saying, "Oh yeah, an elf tried to kill my family" is like a thing to be upset about.
Oh my god.
Yes, I'm told it was called Goblin Bane in the old tongue, but I just call it Moonshard. She's it again.
Moonshard is a prettier name by far. She's like a little freaked out. She's still a little freaked out, but she's glad that his sword has now been put away. Mm-hmm. She's just sort of sitting here like,
have I made things strange? I'm new to all of this.
Perhaps a bit.
Was it the sword thing?
A little bit, yes. Also the mentioning of the killing of the family by one of my people.
They didn't actually kill my family. I killed him very badly.
Okay.
My bare hands, yes.
You do have particularly bear-like hands, it's true.
Yeah, look at these things. And he holds his hands up. It's the size of, like, your head.
And she sort of holds up one hand, and, like, her palm and, like, the tips of her fingers are, like, glowing softly, and it's, like, her whole hand barely covers the, like, the center pad, the palm of his big paw.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Goodness gracious, that is very large hand. Paw.
Yeah. No, so, but this is actually important, because yes, elves have tried to kill me a lot of times. And they haven't super stopped, even since I've become king.
Goodness. Well, I can see why that would be a problem. And I can see why...
Yes, I was thinking, maybe we could get married and then that could stop.
She is just like, her mouth is open like she was about to say something, and there are just no words. She's just like, I beg your pardon.
You know, like an alliance. People's craftsmanship is unparalleled, and
yes, it is.
I command all 13 clans of goblins, ogres, hobs, trolls, bugbears, orcs. But between the two of us, we could create a bastion of prosperity across the land.
Huh. She's like, there's just no words. She's like, I see. So I know you're new to the whole royalty thing, but usually when there is a, let's say, political marriage to be arranged, one goes to the parents of the one you intend to marry in order to begin the talks for peace. You don't just sort of go around all that.
I mean, I'm sure that we would meet each other's parents at some point. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Oh, boy. Right. I don't even know what to say here.
I think I've overstepped my. This is what our weird. All right, okay. You can keep the cloak because it's not actually all that cold to me. I think maybe we can talk about this later. Under more advantageous situations, I will look into that parent thing you talked about. It still doesn't make any sense. It's not that seems counterproductive because you're the person that
a political marriage usually comes after peace talks, not as the beginning of them. I would love to have peace between our peoples. Yes.
Well, there we go.
Circle back to this at a later point.
All right. Yeah. Maybe. Sure. Yeah. You can keep the cape.
I appreciate it. It's very cool.
She just gets up and kind of sheepishly leaves.
Amazing.
And she's just sort of sitting there in this puddle of fur, like, what the fuck just happened?
What a glorious note to end the scene on. Amazing. I love it.
Oh my god, that was fucking incredible.
All right. Sam, it's your turn.
Oh my god. Okay. So I start by drawing 2 cards.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
One for the scene and one for the location.
Okay. This is the scene card, the 5 of spades.
Ooh, this could be an ensemble.
Ooh. Everyone's there.
And for so this is the scene that I just drew.
Mm-hmm.
And for the location, it is the 8 of spades. Interesting.
Also the Altar of Winter.
Oh, fun. So, it is an ensemble scene with bellies full of nothing. So we're all waiting for dinner to happen, I guess. And the value is also as torchlights flicker.
At the Altar of Winter.
All right. So, we're all waiting eagerly for the Lady Winter to arrive. We're all the altar is set up. There's a table spread in front of the altar. There's food piled high on the table, but we cannot start eating until Lady Winter arrives. And thus, with our bellies empty, we wait before the altar as night begins to fall and the torches are lit.
Sam, are you going to play Miva in this? Or an NPC?
I'm trying very hard to find the ensemble scene list so I can read.
There is a handout in Roll20 if that's easier to find than scrolling through.
I found it, but thank you.
No worries.
So ensembles involve all of the characters. Like an interlude, the director determines the focus of the scene as well as the location. The director may preempt the scene as much as he likes, as much as they like. But once the ensemble starts, the players should let things develop organically. The director still has the right to call scene at any moment. Any player may override the director by spending 1 drama point to end the scene early or to extend the scene longer. I may take on the role of an NPC in the ensemble instead of my own character, and any of you guys can spend a drama point to take on the role of an established NPC instead of your own character. So, I think, unless I want to spend a drama point, I should be playing Miva.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to spend a drama point to play an NPC.
I think it just said that I did.
No, any player has to.
You're director.
Your director.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So you have the choice.
So the director may take on the role of an NPC instead of their own character, but you guys have to spend a drama point to take an NPC instead of your own character. Got it. All right. I'm going to play Miva. I think that's interesting.
All right.
So there's a table on the altar with lots of food on it.
I think the table is slightly in front of the altar. It's the altar is at the head of the table, basically. And then the table is... It's where the lady would sit at the head of the table, you know?
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Are the gifts here? Are they decorated around the throne, waiting for her to arrive? Or what do we think?
Yeah. I think all of our gifts are or if the gift is part of the table setting, Miva's cup is at the lady's table setting. And at some point, I guess we must have all sort of formally declared our gift and placed it around the altar.
Casdelian holds up the coin with an imprint of his face on it, and he says, "There was more where this comes from," and he puts it down.
He just puts it down on the seat of the altar,
He puts it on next to her plate.
Aha.
But my question is, are we sitting, or are we all just like standing and waiting for her to arrive?
I feel like we might all be sort of awkwardly seated at the table waiting for her arrival.
Cool.
You know, the whole, like, we don't start eating until everyone's here and everyone's sitting down.
Yes.
Does that mean she's arrived at the court and we're waiting for her to get to this table? Like,
I feel like her first arrival at the court is her entrance into this room.
So do they do this every night? Sorry, Zach.
Yeah, we might be like getting closer, like further into autumn, and it might be like this is when we start doing this.
Yeah, maybe it's the first night that we're doing it.
Just Delian is sitting with his arms crossed, and he says, "So what time is he supposed to get here?"
We do not know. That is why we wait.
He turns to the other side and to Tala, and he says, "Don't know at all?"
Unfortunately, no, but ceremony and tradition dictates that after the 4th autumn moon, we lay out the table and we wait.
Speaking of ceremony and tradition, Della, you heard this thing about marriage where you have to talk to someone's parents first?
I feel like on the other side of Tala, like Timmy just like snorts.
Miva's like got her head in her hands, like.
And Tala just like raises an eyebrow and says, "Has somebody propositioned you for marriage?"
No, I'm trying to marry someone, and it's very complicated.
Such things usually are. And like, I think that they're just smiling like this was not what I was expecting to happen. But this evening just got much more interesting, and this is a very good distraction.
I tell you, it didn't used to be complicated. It used to be, at least back where I'm from, you can just marry whoever you want. And it wasn't a whole deal. Remember? And pats Tala on the shoulder.
When one is royalty, as royalty, things become a lot more complicated. It's sort of part of the whole deal.
That's why we don't do royalty.
Well, the unfortunate thing is that I needed to be royalty to even get into this room. So, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
I feel like Tala is smart enough to maybe make a connection, given that Miva's the one chiming in, but righteously chaos. So, who are you pursuing?
No.
Miva just sort of rolls her eyes. She's like awkwardly looking off to the side, looking like a little too bored, a little too on purpose.
I know that I don't know a lot, but I think that probably that is a secret. And he looks at Miva.
Amazing. Amazing.
She just sort of like shakes her head and is like, she doesn't say anything. She just sort of like is like, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know anything.
I think it's a secret.
I think just at this point, Tala is just like grinning at Miva, quite frankly. Just like, this hasn't come up in our conversations before. Is this a new development kind of a face?
Miva's just like, doesn't make a rude hand gesture because that would be impolite, but is like vaguely gesturing towards making a rude hand gesture. She's like, I want to flip you off, but I can't. But I'm really, really trying very hard not to flip you off right now. Kind of vibe.
Incredible.
This is, talks are being had. Peace talks. And I will not say any more.
Yeah. Right.
Glance between the two of you. Well, good luck with the negotiations, I guess.
Oh, boy, you're telling me.
Oh my god.
Oh, Lord.
This is a good game.
I've found the niche that Casdalian lives within.
This podcast can always use more himbos. Is the thing.
It's true. It's very true. I'm glad that there's more himbos here.
So, does she show up tonight?
On the first night we're waiting for her? Absolutely not. I feel that would be premature. So we basically just sit around and wait for her to arrive for like 2 hours. The food is taken away, and a steward sort of
Come on.
claps his hand quietly and says, a provisionary meal will be served downstairs in the court halls in 20 minutes. And they walk off. Basically, it's like a less fancy meal that we all walk down to
Can
after
you
this.
believe that? They just wasted a whole boiled goose.
I'm gonna, because I am a drama llama.
How many goblins that would feed back in the mountains?
But yeah, I'm spending a drama point to introduce an NPC.
Oh.
I need to quickly generate a name. My apologies.
There's actually a list of names at the back of the NPC.
Oh, there are, aren't there? Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had forgotten.
The part of me that like hates the idea of food waste wants to be like, oh, the servants will eat the meal that did not go to the queen. But
that's the part of me that is speaking through Mr. Hrothgar here.
yeah, but like knowing this kind of like shitty is like thing is it's like, oh no, we'll put it out for like the fairies, and you know,
Sure.
it will feed someone. Don't you worry. She sort of awkwardly pats him on the shoulder, but like feels really weird about it.
He's just reached
Like
very
barely
high.
brushes his fur.
I think seeing this interaction, having been listening in, how exactly does he do this? Basically, the Knight of the Realm who's got beef is gonna make some noise about this talk of marriage and and all that jazz. His name is Atropos.
This is the Knight of the Realm,
Knight of the Realm.
wearing his fancy armor.
Which I imagine is not a comfortable thing to sit around at a dining table wearing for a few hours when you're already hungry. And then you're seeing one of your foes.
The greatest villain you've ever known.
Yeah, I think he sort of scuffles a little with his guard, as it were. The little, just like, bursts through them. And says this to Miva. I think there's this scuffling going on, and he like hands his sword over to one of the guards, just like, that's not what this is about. And sort of clangs over in full plate, as you do, to Miva. And it's just like, not only do you disrespect this great institution, it's probably his first time being here too.
This young firebrand upstart.
But you consider to consort with the likes of him, and shoots a dirty look over at Casdalian.
The likes of me?
She sort of blinks and goes, I beg your pardon, do I know you? Have we met?
He goes a little bit pink in the face, like with indignation. I feel like there's definitely some blonde flowing locks here, like tosses the head a little bit.
Jaime Lannister.
A little bit, maybe a little bit, because I watched a video essay about it the other day because I need something to fill my days. Griffin from Berserker.
Oh, yeah.
White blonde tresses. Like, indignantly, just like, I am Sir Tropos, and I serve the realm.
Lady Miva of the Elven Court.
He does a stupidly over-the-top, like, proper chivalry rules bow.
She just sort of holds her hand out. It does a very, very slight curtsy because she is far above this man.
He knows it.
Mm-hmm. Sir Atropos, you said.
Yes, my lady.
It's very kind of you to worry about my safety, but I assure you, I can fend for myself. And she snaps her fingers, and the armor right over his butt gets really warm. A little uncomfortably warm.
Mm-hmm. I'm familiar with heat metal. Thank you.
I don't think I think he's insulting.
I'm aware.
Oh, okay.
And he starts backing up because he's very uncomfortable now and is sort of like trying not to shift around. He is a knight. He's probably used to being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Dealing with pain.
Because Delian's going to step forward and kind of lean over. Mr. Atrophy, you said the likes of me? What? Would you mind explaining to me what the likes of me are?
He will look all the way up at you, given that you got a couple of feet. Like, even though he's probably very tall, I mean, you're tall.
You still got about 2 feet on him, even if he's 6 foot.
Yeah. I don't think he blinks. I think this is a test of his mettle, as it were. And just like a monster that doesn't know he's a monster is a piteous thing indeed.
You're telling me, kiddo. How about you get some mud on your boots before you come at me again?
I think he looks like he's gonna throw a punch, and like the red court guards sort of like get in there and like that's enough, and just sort of like escort him back to his rooms.
Hold me back!
Yeah.
Well, that was unpleasant.
What was his deal?
It's a very good question. I fear we'll never know the answer.
Let's see what they got to eat down there.
Yes.
Bottles off? Is this scene?
That's scene. That's
I
gotta
think
be
that's
because like
scene,
it's
yeah.
changing location.
Yeah, it's Sam's decision on when scene.
Yeah,
is.
but I would say that's scene.
Very cool.
Oh wow, we've actually done one of every kind of scene. Already, that's handy.
Nice.
All right.
So Sam, that was your first scene. All right, it is my turn to draw a scene. I'm having a lot of fun with Cazdelian.
He's fun.
Amazing. I'm loving this. It's definitely interesting to like play Miva rather than just like thinking about how she would act.
Mm-hmm. So it's the 3 of spades. It's another ensemble. Oh boy. And the 6 of spades.
Do you want to keep both of those?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So it's an ensemble in which someone will bleed for my charity
Jeez.
at the altar of winter beneath a blood red moon.
Holy
Very
shit.
sexy, very cool, very much in love with this.
It's good.
Yeah. Perhaps you can see why I'm like, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This might be maybe somebody else within the court is like, listen, the Goblin King wants to be here. The Knight of the Realm doesn't want him to be. There are ways to settle this disagreement. There might be some sort of, thing to do here. Who else is here?
Well, all the players have to be involved.
Yes, yes.
So
Maybe the red caps are agitating for combat, for blood.
mm-hmm.
Their hats are getting dry.
I like the thought like the blood moon rises as well and it sort of like exacerbates that even more.
Mm-hmm. The red caps are like running around the the court saying, the knight wants blood, the knight wants blood. Let it be spilled so that our hats may grow wet.
Gross and weird. Love it.
That's red caps. Red caps got to keep their hats wet.
Yep.
They're red caps because their hats are woolen hats that they keep wet with blood. They're gross, weird fairies.
Love it.
And the Father of Autumn says, it is the end of the season, and it is time for harvest. If the knight wishes to bet his life on his beliefs, and the King of Goblins accepts, then blood will be spilled. And I don't think we necessarily have to play out a duel, but we could do an ensemble of the two of you. An ensemble is all of the characters. I think that's all of our characters.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the two of you coming to me about how if this is going to be a thing or not. You know what I mean?
Oh, are you fighting this dude?
Yeah, because the knight is like, yes, I am going to fight. I'm going to protect my honor. He's already disrespected me openly in front of the court, and so you are trying to persuade or dissuade King Hrothgar from rising to the knight's challenge. And this is at the altar of winter, beneath the blood red moon.
I'm trying to think of because the thing is that it's really obvious who's gonna win this.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And it ain't the knight.
But how does Miva feel about it? So we'll say we're at there's been an arena set up, a dueling pit, basically. On one side is the knight with his squires, and he is in his armor and testing the sharpness of his sword and the metal of his shield. And the other side is King Hrothgar. They're basically like open air locker rooms.
Yeah.
He's got his hobgoblins there, and the troll is sitting and watching and picking his nose. Hrothgar is wearing his battle suit, which is a sleeveless breastplate, and greaves, and he's got gauntlets on. And he's got greaves to protect his legs, but his shoulders are free. And he's got those long bugbear arms, and he's got his elf sword, Moonshard, that glows in the light of the moon. It is now red because the blood moon is up.
Fuck yeah.
I love the thought that either this room is open to the elements, or it's a massive big skylight that's just letting the moonlight fill the space.
The moon is directly above, or it's it's the moon is almost directly above, and when it is directly above is when the fight begins.
Yeah. And this red hue light is already sort of starting to spill over into the fighting pit. It's not fully illuminated yet.
Yeah. So how are Tala and Miva feeling?
I feel like Miva is sort of sitting, very demurely sitting with her little ankles crossed in this in the middle of all of these goblins and ghouls and such.
No ghouls. I'm not a king of the dead. They're all alive.
They're all alive. All right. So, goblins and trolls and all sorts of big boys. And she's just sort of, she's here to root for you.
Is she? Oh, okay.
I feel like at this point she's got some fondness for this big dumb boy who apparently wants to marry her. She wasn't sure at first, but she's coming around. And so, she shows up, doesn't really say much, just sort of sits there down and goes, well, we all know who's going to win this. There's no point in even wishing you luck. She looks at the fucking the knight who's just doing, squats or whatever.
Yeah, squats in full plate. And Kazillion looks over and looks back and says, having luck is exactly what we need. What happens when I kill him and the King of Man rallies an army?
You don't have to kill him, you know. Taylor just sort of strides in between.
Mm-hmm.
The guy might know a couple of them, just like sup. Just like,
Hey, it's Taylor!
little does like forearm to forearm bump. It's probably as big as like as if not bigger than some of the hobgoblins. There, like as I said, Taylor ain't small unless like they're stood next to Cazdelian kind of vibes.
The big man, yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Miva's just like, she's like 5'2".
It's good.
Yeah, I hope I don't have to.
Just cut off his legs. Then he can't. I will. As long as you heal him fast enough, then it's fine.
Is that what I'm expected to do here?
I mean, I could as well.
But you did fire.
Elemental magic.
That includes putting people's legs back on?
Water magic sometimes can do that. It also, well, we're not going to put his legs back on. She sort of backs and she's like, well, hold on. We're not putting his legs back on. We're just stopping him from dying of blood loss.
Oh, okay.
He can't fight you. He doesn't have any legs.
He's young, hot-headed, principled. It's not like I don't know what it's like.
He's a fool.
Most people are when they're young.
Neva's like 400 years old. She doesn't understand this. She's like, whatever.
What do you want, princess? Do you want blood?
Tala will cock an eyebrow looking, because they're interested in how Miva's going to answer this question too.
Well, he doesn't deserve to die just for being stupid. I defer to whatever you wish to do. It is, after all, your fight, and you are the injured party in this.
I don't know, he called you a lot of names too.
I've been called worse.
So have I. What do you think, Tal?
I think a wounded animal is more dangerous than a dead one. And, well, I stand by that you don't have to kill him. A young man with a wounded pride is more likely to retaliate.
Don't I know it?
Very true.
Father Autumn may have given his blessing for this to happen. And none here are going to dispute that. At least I don't think so. But maybe it's a lesson that he'll take to heart and be smarter and better for it. I can't say that for sure, though.
Yeah. If there's the one thing we know for certain, it's the dead don't learn.
Very true.
Very true. Miva looks like she's thinking, she's like, without arms, maybe he couldn't fight back.
And I think the blood moon reaches its apex, and the entire arena is awash in scarlet light. He says, "That's my cue."
Well, fight well.
Yeah, I always do. And Cazdelian.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you do? You do
I was going to say, Tala taps you, like on the, probably reach up as far as they can to tap you on the shoulder kind of vibe, so it might be like close enough. I think you feel a little blossoming of warmth under their hand. They're casting some kind of spell, not like a unfair advantage kind of a vibe, but a little bit of wild magic. Keep things interesting.
Sure.
Just keep things fun,
He kind of cocks an eyebrow at Tal and says, "All right." On the other side of the ring, the gate is opened, and the armored Sir Tropos walks out, whereas Hrothgar just vaults over it.
Amazing.
And he says, "Do you want to play Atropos still?"
I mean, I can do, sure. Do we also want to play this out? Because when can it say the scene ends?
We don't have to play it like play it out, but I do know how it ends.
Sure.
So,
all right.
But we can at least have some some back and forth.
I'm trying to decide whether this is a two-handed like berserker sword, or whether he fights with a shield.
I feel like it's shield.
Yeah. All right. Long sword and shield it is then. does a good little twirl with the sword
Mm-hmm.
around one hand.
You sure about this, kid? You only get one life.
And I will spend it doing what I know to be right.
All right. Kazelian draws his elf sword and tosses the sheath back at his like stewards. It was a great sword to an elf, and he holds it in one hand.
Yeah.
All right. And there's like a cool clash of steel. There's Kazelian, for being so big, is a bugbear and is very light on his feet. And it gets to the point where he just like knocks away Sir Atropos' shield, and it goes flying and like embeds in the mud.
Mm-hmm.
And Atropos swings his sword, thinking he's got an opening, only for Kazelian to catch it with his bare hand.
His bare hand, sorry.
Uh-huh. And so Kazelian's like got the sword. He's like holding it like just above the hilt with the blade, and his blood is streaming down. And he looks Atropos in the eyes. He looks down and he says, "What color is that?" And it's red blood coming out of him. And he says, "Remember, the worst kind of monster is one who doesn't know he is." And then he just headbutts Atropos' helmet and knocks him unconscious.
Amazing.
Love it. Good shit.
All right.
And blood is spilled. The red caps are annoyed but sated. And the blood moon sets.
Dope. Alrighty. Yes, me. All right. So our next scene, is a vignette.
Ooh.
Black Dog's Howl, and then it's your name in brackets. So
Tala's name?
I'm not sure. I think I'll check, but maybe. So, and the location, the throne room, again under a blood red moon.
Oh, maybe this happened the same night. We could fuck with the timeline and have this happen before the duel.
All right. Just quickly reading over the thing. Because vignettes are a good opportunity to show what else is going in the story that doesn't involve the main characters.
Ooh, okay.
So, okay, I got something. All right.
Man.
All right.
This also doesn't have to involve Tala.
No, it doesn't. What this is after the fight, the blood moon still lingers. This is a different part of the palace, and as the red court, the light shining in to the throne room, and it is Sir Atropos just, I think, walking back and forth, clearly pissed, but also frustrated, and I think he looks very young in this moment. Like, the armor's probably gone. This is like the gambeson and the leggings. I don't know what they wear on the bottom half of the armor underneath your plate.
Probably leggings.
Leggings, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Breeches.
Didn't know the correct pronunciation of she, but I managed to get something right about armor. Wicked. And I'm trying to decide because I kind of know what the black dog often refers to in like mythology. It's as much a sign of death as anything else. And I think okay, there is this sound of what sounds like howling, and he sort of whips around, like the hair flowing out behind him, and ice starts to spread, like blossoming over the throne itself, which I imagine sort of made of stone. And you know the way that sort of ice crystals fall on window panes and stuff like that sort of snowflakey kind of, yeah, frost flowers start to blossom over the throne, and the howling gets louder. Now there's no mistaking, that's not the wind. And from out behind the throne steps Lady Winter.
She's been here for a long time.
And she is tall, and her eyes are piercing, and she looks down at Sir Atropos and like takes hold of his chin, and you can see the skin automatically getting that frostbitten look just at her touch, and she just says to him, "A pity," and walks down through the throne room, and like the frost flowers blossoming underneath each step, like a really upsetting version of, I've forgotten her name from Frozen. Elsa. Yeah, like a very upsetting version of that. And the door opens for her and then slams shut again. And that howling does not go away.
Boy. So is Atropos...
I think he's marked.
He's Ice Boy now.
Yeah. Boy. Not quite a K in the Ice Queen, in the Snow Queen vibe, but yeah.
Kick ass.
Thank you.
All right. That's a vignette. She's here. She's mean. She means business.
Sam.
Oh, it's my turn again now.
It is.
Exciting.
Samwise.
That's me. I'm Samwise. Okay. The scene is a vignette.
Of an end to tyranny.
An end to tyranny. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And the location is the Altar of Winter under the auspices of ravens and crows.
Ooh.
Caw, caw.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah, so this is your vignette, so you have full control over it.
Full narrative control, scary. So, I feel like this scene is going to be, what was it, Father Autumn?
Mm-hmm.
Handing over, the scepter, the throne, to Lady Winter. Perhaps not quite tyranny, but the end of his reign for the year. Perhaps it's not so much a gentle handing over as it is a mock battle. Because this happens every year, it's a well-crafted dance. It happens, year after year. It is expected, but it is a dance with blades. They are fighting, quote unquote, in a sort of ceremonial attire. As they dance around each other, Father Autumn is pushed back. He's defeated until he kneels before Lady Winter and holds up the scepter that is also a sword, where Lady Winter can take it, and it blooms into these flowers of frost that follow her footsteps until it is this very wicked-looking, sharp blade covered in spikes and points. And I think that's the whole vignette.
Cool.
Oh, the ravens and crows are there. And they're
ravens.
And there's ravens and crows. They're there.
And they go...
Maybe the ravens and crows are the only witnesses to this.
Yeah. Or it could be like... I was going to say it could be like she stabs them, and then a bunch of them fly into the air.
Yeah, something like that.
Mm.
And he spends the year recovering until he comes back next autumn.
Mm.
All right. That's my second scene.
That's your second scene?
We want to go around again?
Oh, yeah, that was just one scene. So we could, but this could be a very good point for a cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
And we could play another game. We could do another episode of this, or another,
we could do another session of this to do it. Finished.
Sure. Let's do an outro.
All right.
Let's do an outro.
This has been Follow the Leader. Join us when we return to the Red Court and the Lady Winter beginning her reign. Playing with me today has been Zachary.
My name is Zachary Fredrickson. You can find me on Twitter at ObscuniGod, and you can find my music at iambugbear.bandcamp.com. See, I told you. bugbears.
Sam?
Yeah, and I've been Sam. You can find me on Twitter at SAKalo, and you can find the other podcasts that I do at Kitty Cat War Crimes, KCWC Pod on Twitter, and Kitty Cat War Crimes wherever you find podcasts.
That's KCWC, right?
Yes. Did I say it wrong?
No, it almost sounded like you said KC, like the name, and then WC.
No, it's KCWC Pod.
Cool.
Kitty Cat War Crimes.
Do you want to explain what that is for people that maybe don't know?
It is a Warrior Cats rereading podcast. We are rereading Warrior Cats, and we are talking about it, and two of us have read the books before, and one of us has not.
What's the episode to book breakdown? Is it like a book per episode, or is it like a chapter of a book?
It's half a book per episode, so it's 12 chapters-ish.
I see.
All right.
Yeah. We were originally going to do a whole book per episode, and then we were like, this sucks. Let's do half a book per episode.
Fair.
Sure.
And I have and continue to be Jade. You can find me on Twitter at Jade Oxford Rose. You can find the show at FTLcast and at FTLcast.com. You can also hear me on Dumb Kids Playing Hero, wherever you find your podcasts. And you can check out our best friend podcast, The Room Where It Happened. They're all awesome and deserve your listens if you aren't already doing so.
And maybe you'll hear more of us on that.
Maybe. By the time this episode goes out, that may have already happened. I'm not sure. Who knows? Who knows?
Time is long.
Timing is weird, and we don't know when our episodes go out.
And speaking of time being weird and long, let's go to time.is and do a clap.
Yep.
Kick ass.
Hi, it's August, and I just wanted to thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed us, please consider leaving a rating on your podcast platform of choice, telling your friends about us, or tweeting about us using the FTLcast hashtag. We are also part of a nonprofit podcasting guild called Standing Stones Productions. We do a variety of shows, including The Room Where It Happened and Dumb Kids Playing Hero, 2 actual play shows, and a Steven Universe discussion podcast called Gay Space Rocks. We also do live streams at twitch.tv/standingstonesprod. You can keep up with everything that we do on Twitter at stones_standing. Unfortunately, Standing Stones was already taken. Your support means a lot. Thanks again!